What is up guys, welcome back to the channel, and as you are moving forward into the last few days of this month, it is time for us to check out our first episode of top 10 brand new completely free to play games you can play right now during the month of January. It's a brand new year, brand new month, and we got an incredible collection of brand new free games from high profile popular titles to smaller scale indie titles. There are so many awesome games to talk about, and as always all of these games are 100% free to play. You can simply go ahead and download most of them on Steam and also a few games available on Epic Game Store. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into our number 10. Alright, starting at number 10, we gotta talk about the most popular game at the moment, and that is no doubt High Guard. It is a fresh free-to-play first-person shooter that just hit on Steam a couple of days ago, and it is making a lot of headlines at the moment, mostly for the bad stuff. But we gotta talk about what it is, right? So it's basically a 3v3 PvP raid, more like a competitive shooter, where you and your crew of wardens fight across these big open world maps to capture powerful objectives and batter down the enemy base. We got different guns, magic, horses, siege, looting system. Bit of a weird mix of most of the games that are already available on the market. But anyway, this game got a massive hype because it was the final big reveal at the Game Awards 2025, and they announced it as the next big thing coming from the developers of Apex Legends and Titanfall. But honestly, the reception has been rough. The players flooded the initial trailer with dislikes right away, and right now at the moment the game is bombarded with mostly negative reviews on Steam, complaining about the performance issues, huge maps that feels empty for 3v3, awkward shooting mechanics, server bugs, and even the require of Secure Boot 2.0 and TPM, stuff that blocks a lot of the PCs from launching the game. I personally haven't had a lot of time to properly jump into the game, but even after jumping into the training ground for a couple of minutes, I can see the performance is all over the place. Visually the game looks pretty bad even on the higher settings. It looks like I'm running the game on 720p or something, but despite that I never really got the time to jump into a proper multiplayer game yet. Yes, it is multiplayer only, so there is no single player campaign, co-op or anything like that. Right now it feels like a cool idea, but a very messy launch, and I'm hoping they'll be able to iron out most of this stuff in future updates. Alright, if you're into simulation games, next up we got a brand new title called Masana. This one is super niche but really cool freebie that popped out on Steam very recently, and it's a full-on train simulator where you literally step into a cab and drive around the most iconic Polish locomotives and passenger units. It is single player only and all about realism, where every sound and physics detail was made to mimic that real train operation. You got over 40 different type of engines, 100 of carriages, and nearly 200 scenarios across real and fictional route to play around with. It is super realistic, so not to a typical arcade style game. It is calm, detailed, and earn its praise from the players who love this simulation kind of vibe. And Steam reviews are right now very positive, with a lot of people enjoying the deep mechanics and how satisfying it to master the driving and signals. But if you're someone who new to simulation games like myself, there is going to be a steep learning curve. Moving on to number 8, we got an awesome game called Leatherfall, and this one is honestly a pretty surprising free game that showed up at the end of December, and it's a first-person horror experience that mixes Lovecraftian vibe, creepy exploration, and some psychological scares. In this game, you play as Dylan, a guy who haunted by fragmented memories of tragic event from his past life, and you have been basically wandered through this decaying abandoned village, chasing clues, solving puzzles, and try not to get eaten by whatever lurk in the shadows. It is a very short single play experience, so there is no multiplayer or co-op or anything like that. It will take you around an hour, maybe couple of hours to complete. The gameplay is all about exploration, atmosphere, and the tension rather than fast action. So if you're into horror games where mood and the story pull you in more than shooting zombies in the face, this one is absolutely for you. Story is pretty eerie but very straightforward. So all in all guys, if you're into this style of creepy atmospheric horror style of games, download and try it yourself. It doesn't cost you anything. Number 7, we got Bit of Rebellion, and this one is a very unique little indie freebie that I recently found on Steam, and it's actually pretty fun to play. It is a single player isometric rhythm based hack and slash game where you play as a rebel in this cyberpunk city called New Nexus. The gameplay is heavily focused on rhythm, so you attack and the combos sync to the beat of the music. So ultimately timing these actions with the rhythm actually make your moves more stronger and more stylish, make it really cool to pull off. The game also got that colorful cyberpunk vibe, and the music really drive how the combat feels, which make the game really stand out from your typical beat 'em up hack and slash style of games. As for popularity right now, the Steam reviews are mostly positive, but I don't think a lot of people still know about this game yet. So if you're looking for a unique beat 'em up hack and slash game without paying any money, this one is a cool game to try out at the moment. Alright, moving on to a game that I really wanted to talk about, but to be honest, I kind of forgot to add this one to the last month's video, and that is Splitgate Arena Reloaded. And this seems to me their final push as the reimagined version of Splitgate, a multiplayer first-person shooter built around portals and arena combat that try to blend fast-paced gunplay with strategic and skill. So you're basically dropping into these PvP battles with mods like Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, Domination, plus some cool party modes like Gun Game, and also recently added Arena Battle Royale style of a mode. I did spend few hours playing this new relaunch version, and it's actually not bad. It got some genuinely fun game modes, but I gotta say it also feels nothing special at the same time. And this relaunch was set up as a response to all the community backlash that they get throughout the last year, so it's combining what people like from the original Splitgate and Splitgate 2, stripping out some of the stuff that they didn't land so well, focusing more on the classic arena feel that we all love. They added some new maps and also some older maps from the original game, new weapons, a tightened rank system, a better performance, and try to hype up the player base again. But the popularity right now is kind of mixed overall. It's sitting around mixed reviews, plus around 1000 concurrent players on Steam, which is pretty low compared to the older days. But keeping that aside, the gameplay is honestly not that bad. It's pretty fun to play, for me at least. So if you're into multiplayer shooters and want to try out something new, download, try it yourself. It's completely free. Plus, this is possibly going to be their last push for this game. Moving on to our next game, we got an awesome little indie project called Skybound. It's a 3D exploration platformer that is all about fluid movement, parkour, and swinging through these mystical floating islands. You play as Belle, a young archaeologist, try to uncover ancient secrets and piece together the biggest mystery in the skies. Visually, the game looks very simple and honestly nothing really special about it, but the gameplay is very movement focused. You'll be grappling, wall running, momentum jumping, and solving environmental puzzles more than anything else. The game is single player only with Steam leaderboards and achievements, and I gotta say it feels really satisfying once you get the rhythm going. At the moment, the game is sitting on very positive reviews, so if you're looking for a cool little adventure exploration game, there is no reason not to try this one out. Heartopia is another multiplayer live simulation style of a game that just launched on Steam, and it's one of those cozy titles that try to give you that Animal Crossing vibe with hobbies, socializing, and town living. You can build and decorate your dream house, fish, garden, cook, adopt pets like cats and dogs, and basically chill in this peaceful little world while you level up and skill and interact with other players online. The game is cross-platform too, so your friends on PC and mobile can hang out in the same town. The game doesn't have any high intensity action, combat, or anything like that. It's basically about freedom and creativity. Honestly, this style of cozy simulation games are not my cup of tea, but a lot of people on the Steam thinks otherwise. The game is very popular at the moment, having more than 50,000 plus concurrent players. Do It Night Abyss is one of the free-to-play action RPG games that finally hit on Steam after a bit of wait, and is one of the most talked about new releases of this month. It's a third-person hybrid action RPG where you follow two protagonists in a separate, interconnected journey through a fantasy world full of magic, technology, and exploration. The gameplay revolves around fast-paced combat with the ability to switch between multiple weapons on the fly, like whip blades, crossbows, grenade launchers, and hover guns, plus aerial movement and the ground combos are super fun to pull off. On top of everything, you got tons of customization with dice, cosmetics, and loadouts that let you tweak the combat style however you like. And one of the biggest stories around Do It Night Abyss is that these completely scrap up some of the traditional gacha mechanics, meaning all the characters and weapons are earnable through gameplay instead of random pulls. The game is mainly single player with some multiplayer elements. If you want to jump into a new RPG game that is free and fairly deep, this one is a great option on the market. At number 2, we got 2XKO, Riot Games' brand new entry onto the free-to-play market. This one been on early access on PC since last month, but the game finally fully released right now, available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles. This game takes that classic fighting game formula and twisted it into team-based tag team fighting experience, where matches are all about 2v2 battles with iconic champions from League of Legends universe reimagined for this fighting genre. You can either team up with another friend, or you can control both fighters as solo, then simply switching between them on the mid-fight to extend combos, back up each other, and outplay your opponents with strategy and tag mechanics. I'm not much of a fighting game guy, but the combat feels super satisfying and very cool to pull off. It's fast-paced, competitive, the controls are relatively easy to understand at first, but there is enough there to keep a lot of the serious players interested. And of course it's from Riot, so there's going to be regular updates, seasons, battle pass to keep the game alive for the longest time possible. So if you're a fighting game guy, this is an an excellent game to try out. It's completely free, and remember, if you're playing the game on PC, make sure to download the game through the Riot Games official client, since the game is not available on Steam or Epic Games Store. Alright, moving on to number 1 spot, we got arguably one of the biggest free game to drop in January, and that is none other than Ark Knight Enfield. Yes, the full global free-to-play version finally launched. Now it's available on PC, mobile, and also on consoles. It is a 3D real-time RPG spin-off from the Ark Knight universe that a lot of people hyping it for a very long time. The game throws you into this semi-open world on the moon Talos 2, where you play as an administrator of Enfield Industries. You got a commanding a squad of operatives in tactical combat while handling base building, resource gathering, and factory automation. I'm someone who's not really familiar with this Enfield universe, but the game got a pretty deep story with some big sci-fi vibe. But there is a lot of mixed reaction in the community at the moment. A lot of the criticism isn't about the fact that it's free, it's about the gacha mechanics, and also a combination of system that feels overwhelming or underwhelming. All that said, it's free to play with some in-app purchases for both single player and multiplayer elements. It just came out, so it's worth a shot if you're into anime RPGs with deep systems, exploration, and base management. And remember guys, if you decide to play the game on PC, right now it is only available on Epic Games Store. Well, there you have it guys, 10 of the best completely free-to-play brand new games that come out in January 2026. And what games are you planning to jump in straight away? Let me know down in the comment section. And as always guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more free-to-play game coverage like this. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.